Hey there, Outliers. Niiamah Ashong here, and thank you so much for letting me be a part of your journey. Today, we are bringing on an incredible outlier. His name is Mark Anthony Claiborne, aka Mac, and this is Mac of Mactastic TV. Mac, it's an absolute pleasure to be in space with you.
Man, it's a pleasure to be here, Niiamah. Man, thank you for inviting me on. I can't wait to, talk to you and get in deep and wide in these different topics, man. I'm excited, brother.
Deep and wide is exactly where we're going to be here. Let's start off with the deep part. And what I like to do is just like bring people into like my experience of you, right? This is if you're good with it, I just like to reflect like part of what I've gotten about you in the time that we come together. Are you good with that?
Let's go.
All right, cool. So Mac, what I get about you is like one, like you have style, you have class, you have energy, and you channel that energy toward like your greatest good. What I mean by that there is that like in talking to you right now, I feel that like there's a place where I can bring in different business problems. I can bring in different like ways that I like to look at like artistry or the world or like what's happening around me. And you'll bring in a unique perspective to it. And it will come from like a place of both experience and wisdom
Yeah.
that all comes into place here. So I'm just letting you know we're still getting to know each other, but I want to let you know like that is already coming through pretty clearly for me here, man. It's great to be in conversation with you.
Guilty, man. Guilty as charged. You got
Yeah.
me.
I'll take that. I'll take that. So Mac, I shared a bit about like my experience of you so far, but I want to give people some context of you, right? We're all outliers listening to this. We do things differently and we're creating our businesses, our personal brands, and our impact in a way that's authentic to us. So would you do me a favor? Tell me here, share with us here some context about you. Let us know about the game that you're playing and more about what you're building out in the world.
Yeah, sure. Let me, just to kind of give your audience a little bit more texture who I am, man. I'm originally a Chicago native, born and raised south side of Chicago, a little quiet little place in the map somewhere in the world. That's where I'm originally from, man. So, I've been an entrepreneur my whole life. Former military man. I left Chicago to go to the military. That was my exit out of that draconian and tough environment that I grew up in. So man, I got out the military pursuing entrepreneurship. I started a clothing brand, did that for a few years, man. I made a foray into insurance. I used to sell life insurance. So I dibbled and dabbled in. Go ahead.
I used to do actuarial work, so I was on the retirement side, but like the people who were setting all the insurance quotes and the pricing around it. So I got you on that. I got you on
Yeah,
that.
man.
Yeah.
I did a spin in the financial services. Then from there, I ended up working in corporate America about 8 years. I was a corporate executive at Verizon. And man, you know what? In between that time, I ended up raising two amazing sons as a single father. And and somewhere in there, somebody said, "Hey, you ought to write a book about your story." And as I told you earlier, I got I'm an author of a best-selling book called Ghetto Diamond. And then from there, I got an invite to go on TV one day. Somebody said, "Hey, Mac, you want to go on TV to do a show?" I was like, "Sure." Well, the show ended up being called Queen's Court. I did a show with Tamar Braxton, Evelyn, Nivea, a few other people, and man, it's on Peacock now. And so from that point on, I had this newfound interest from a whole lot of people. So I was like, "Well, I need to do something with this." Entrepreneurship kicks in. I said, "Wait a minute. I can actually build a business with this audience." And that's how I started Mactastic TV because I had so many people interested in Mactastic.
Oh, I love it. This is fantastic here, all around here. So, um, one, I'm seeing that you've had a journey in life. You've had a journey in life here, right? Um, where you let me ask you this: with where you were 10 years ago,
Yeah.
right, compared to where you are now, like the if you look back 10 years and looked at where you are now, is this something like where you are? Is this someplace that you would have like imagined or predicted you would have been at? And like let me just start off with that.
Great question. No, you know what? 10 years ago, man, let me see. I'm 47 now. 37, I was just making my entry really into kind of corporate America. And
Yeah.
I thought I would literally be, all right, man, I'm going to ride this thing out. One day I'll get a golden parachute,
Yeah.
retirement, type of vibe. I'll end up being a VP of Verizon. I never thought that I would, man, honestly be in podcasting and media. overall media overall. So I didn't see the book. I didn't see podcasting. I knew entrepreneurship. I know I probably, be in real estate or something entrepreneurial because that's just who I am at the core.
Yeah.
But I thought corporate America was going to be how I made my identity, man, and be known to the world. But God had a different plan for me.
I love this year, and I like. There's something about that made me ask. Usually, I ask that like at the very end of the conversation, but I love this year because I'm thinking about any outlier that's listening here that's like maybe working in the corporate world or just getting something started or doing something right now, and they're like it's either this or bust, and it's like y'all, we don't know where life is going to take us, but like when it does, I hear you as someone who sees opportunity and jumps on it. Well, I have a friend here, his name's Dave. He would say, gotta hop on the op, you know? Uh and I feel that with you. Tell me about like those like the opportunities that came your way. Maybe you can tell me about some of the ones that you either said right now or something that like most people like a little bit more obscure where it's like, hey, look, this one opportunity was really the thing that like made a difference and it happened here. Take me to one of those moments for you. I'll be really curious about that to get a chance to see like how did you create this.
Well, great question. I would have to say the book, because all of this kind of really started from writing a book. Now,
Yeah.
again, nobody ever thinks their life is that damn interesting because they live it. You're in your body every day. You don't think what you do is all. It's like, hey, man, I'm just like everybody else until you start, contrasting, comparing, and people saying, hey, man, you've had a lot of interesting moments in your life that I think, you probably should share. Well, then you go into the whole introspective aspect. Do I really want to be, vulnerable like that? So I realized that, hey, you know what? I have a soft spot for mentoring people and raising kids. You naturally, those maternal instincts of sharing and giving, you kind of develop those even as a dad. So I said, well, if I can help some young man, let me write a book. And so that's what it was called. It was written for people in those environments, in those ghettos and in the underserved, underclassed parts of America. So I said, all right, fine. And after writing the book, self-publishing it, and doing all these things myself, it spawned another opportunity because that's when somebody reached out to me and said, hey, have you ever thought about being on TV? No, but I tell you what, I'm willing to give it a shot. So I ended up getting the opportunity to go on a TV show. It was called Blind Date Atlanta. Now, I never had a problem getting a date, but I said, I'll tell you what, for exposure for my brand, let's go. Me always thinking business. So I went on there, and didn't make any ripples, but it was an experience. Okay, fine. Double back. I ended up getting an opportunity again to leave to go on. This is the big one, the Peacock NBC opportunity to go and do Queen's Court. Now, here's the thing. Around the same time, I was realizing that corporate America wasn't my journey, man. This wasn't for me. I had reached as high as it's appeared that I was meant to go in that. Now, I could have stayed and be content. I could have stayed and, had the good six-figure salary, but I knew a part of me would have died. And that part of me was the entrepreneurship that I had to express myself individually. So when the opportunity for Queen's Court, the show came, I was like, you know what? I gotta go. And I just literally left corporate America, and I said, I just bet on myself. And so I say all that to say, now, to get back to your original question, it had to be the book because that's what made them want to cast me because I was an author. Because it's just interesting. Like, okay, these guys are authors, he got a story. So obviously there's some depth to the man. And so that right there opened it all the way up. And that's how I got, and that's ultimately led me here to you today, man, in so many ways.
I'm really glad that you were able to like bring it down to that right there. And like I know that there's many in some ways it's an unfair question because there's so many different things that lined up. But I'm really hearing from you like in putting your story out there,
Yeah.
it started opening up doors
Yes,
that
sir.
led from one thing to the other.
Yes, sir.
Right. And it's like your story was always your story. It's not like you didn't live your life. Like it's like not like you just were bestowed some new life. But it was
No,
the
right.
it was it was the process of actually bringing it out there. And one of the things that I'm hearing from this is like I see I love like the unconventional or the tangential. Like it probably makes perfect sense in entertainment, but like it wasn't because someone's like, oh, this story itself hit me really well, but like it put you out in the world for you to be noticed and for you to be seen in and to get on someone's radar.
That's it.
And then from that radar, it's like, all right, now we got the first TV show.
That's
Now you
right.
got experience on TV. And then the opportunities come, you know what's going on, and you're able to keep growing on from there.
Yeah.
So you said something a little earlier that I like putting this in a space here because I like outliers. Like we have these moments for us that like show up in our world where it's like some opportunity opens up, and sometimes we close the door before it's there. Mac, what I hear about you is that like if there's a crack in the door, you're like, "Pow, let's go,
Let's go,
let's
baby.
go,
Let's
let's
don't
go."
wait. Let's go.
So you saw an opportunity now where like Queen's Court, people, you're getting publicity, people know
Yeah.
about you, you have something there, and you decided to build a business around that. Take me to that there and
Good
let me
question.
see that transition.
Good question. So, you know, Naomi, the thing that I want people to understand and get from this, man, and I hope my story, empowers others. And this is why you're ultimately doing this, which is again, man, kudos to you. We need more of this. When I got off the show, I was a finalist. I did 10 episodes. And I realized it was me and four other gentlemen. And the two gentlemen that were selected by the ladies, one was selected by Evelyn Lozada, the other one was selected by Tamar Braxton. Me and the other gentleman, the Niiamah, she didn't select anybody. Okay, fine. So, but we're all finalists on all 10 episodes. So I'm just as invested equity wise, value wise as everybody else. But I realized I didn't get an invite to the premiere party. I was like, well, how can I be? They got an invite. I didn't get one. So I said, oh, so here's a slight. There's one. Slight number two, when we got off, there was no media coverage for me. And I said, wait a minute, you mean to tell me I'm going to invest all of my time and my resources, and I gave you guys 5 weeks of my life, did a great show, everybody's lauding me, but you're not going to be give me any media exposure. Mm-hmm. So what happened was, now I start reaching out and doing my own media. I would look up little small boutique podcasts, say, hey, I'm Matt from Queens Court. Oh yeah, sure, we remember you. Yeah, we want to talk to you. Yeah. And after making rounds like that, after a few of those rounds, I said, wait a minute, I can do this myself. And so I realized that, hey, I got an audience. I had an influx of ladies that was interested in me because it was a dating show, naturally. Yep. So I said, wait a minute, I got an instant fan base there. I said, you know what? Let me go ahead and create my own channel on, and start doing my own podcast, because now I have somebody interested in me and let me scale it. But it all beget from a slight, because I didn't get the media coverage. So I said, you know what? Let me do something about it. I'm going to create my own damn media, because my motto is, Naomi, is that content is like air. As long as you have content, you stay alive. The minute you run out of content, you die. Mm-hmm. So a lot of times is you got to keep yourself relevant. Now you can make content doing something, mindless and stupid, which is, I'm not in the business of that. But I was like, what can I do to keep myself alive and build a business? Well, let me go talk to who wants to talk to me, and let me go create interviews. Hey, I'm Mac from Queens Court. I'm here to be interviewed. And I did that myself. I was my own PR guy. Yeah. So man, yeah.
This is I really appreciate you, because it goes back to that element of like opening up that door that's there, right? You saw something here. You're like, wait a minute, I'm not getting the media coverage. I'm not getting I'm like there's no additional support that's coming through, right? Now, one of the things I appreciate about you here is that like you're like, so I guess I'm gonna have to do this, right? Like, and then you did it.
Yeah.
Right. And what I'm understanding is that like you just went at it at first. Yeah. And then eventually you realize like I can bring this in the house and just like do this more intentionally and have it continue to like own the asset in a different way. Like, am I getting that right there?
Yeah, you got it perfectly.
Yeah. Yeah. So what, like, tell me a little bit about that element of like choosing to create your own brand, choosing to create your own media company here, right? Because I use the words like own the asset. And when I say that, I'm like, there's a different element to this here of being the asset owner versus like being able to follow the revenue or follow like the exposure out there. So tell me about how it's been different for you in making that in choosing to like be the one who holds the asset.
Well, great question. The thing is that I had to transition from, okay, now I want to be an author promoting a book from here. Yep. To I'm Mac. I am the brand. And I'm Mac. And also I just happen to have a book. So I really did the transition from being an author. Hey, this is my book, great book, to being I'm Mac, who just happened to, by the way, I got a really great book, can tell you about it.
Let me say this real quick here. So, for any of you who are listening here, what Mac's doing, like he's holding the book in front of his face, and the book is like in the forefront, right? When he says, it's like I have the book, and the book was in the forefront. And when he says I'm Mac, and I happen to have a book here, the book is behind him right here. It's alongside him, it's on his shoulder, but it's not the thing that leads. What leads is him. Am I getting like? Am I capturing that like properly?
Yeah, I mean, you're 100% correct, because here's the thing with the book. Your book is only as relevant as you are as the person that wrote it.
Mm.
So the thing I had to learn is that as Mac becomes more interesting, as Mac gets more exposure, well, all boats rise, with the tide. As the tide rises, everything, all the boats going to rise with it. So your book is only as interesting as the person who wrote it or who it's about. So I had to realize that with Mac, you are the brand now. So you have to build the business centered around Mac. Well, what does that mean? I mean, it's got to be Mactastic TV. It's got to be Cigar Chats with Mac. It's got to be Mac is the brand. So now, oh, well, yeah, Mac wrote a book. Well, yeah, give me 5 of them. Well, because Mac is the front-facing brand.
Okay. All right. This is great because like we're all here building our personal brands and in one way or another, whether we're doing it in corporate, whether we're doing it like entrepreneurs. Most of us here are entrepreneurs that are listening to this here. And so there's something in here that I think I want to just like tease out here because you pulled out something I think that's important. Having the book is not the brand.
No, no,
Right.
no.
And like if it was the brand, it would have been like the Ghetto Diamond brand, right? Which is
Correct.
different, right? And then everything comes along with that.
Correct.
But like this is Mactastic. So it's Mac in there. And what I'm hearing from you is that like people buy, people watch, people engage because it is you. They're like, I don't even need to read the book. If you got that thing, I'm gonna take 5 of them. Am I
Yeah.
getting some of that's right here?
Yeah, you're getting right, because you have to. What I had to realize is this: is like, okay, Mac, that's great. You wrote a great story, but who are you though?
Mm.
You're still an unknown entity. You were an unknown entity on the national level. And so now you're like, if you want to sell a lot of books, you got to become known on the national level. Because like, all right, people write books every day, but who the hell are you? And so that was the thing with me. You got to make Mac known, so everything associated to Mac becomes interesting and it becomes successful because, oh, well, that's Mac, duh.
All right, I gotta slow this down just a bit here because you're saying some things I think are like important for outliers, just like here. But like you just said, you're unknown. Then you said you're unknown on a national level. That juxtaposition, the two of those things together, like in my mind was like, wait, what? You could be both unknown and at a national level, and it got me thinking. It's like it got me thinking about what are the different levels that are along the way. So outliers, like, and I like Mac, I like to get your take on this because you've lived it. But outliers, I want you to think for yourself here, like they're different, like there's various levels. Well, in my mind I was like, okay, there's multiple levels that could be done and you can go from unknown to known on many like within each of those levels, and then eventually you can either go to a new level or you can skip levels, whatever it is. But like on every level you got to play this game here.
Yeah.
You're unknown on a national level. Like I think that is there's just a lot of juice to that. So can you, if you had to like break that down, like how would you see that? How would you describe the levels for anyone that's like has their own
Yeah,
personal
well,
brand?
great question. Well, so okay, so Mac, you're on a TV show. We don't really know a lot about you. Like we saw you on the show. We like what we see. You're known on a national level, meaning, hey, people all over who has NBC Peacock can watch the show, and they are familiar with millions of eyeballs have seen me on the show.
Yes.
But we don't know you personally. We kind of understand you're here today. You gave us bits and pieces, but you got to remember it's 21 other guys, Mac, on the show. So we don't know everything about you. Now, why should we buy your book? Just because you're in a dating show? Well, that's not quite enough. You're going to have to be able to showcase more of your brand that you couldn't showcase on the show. The show gave us a sample size, enough for us to come say, well, let's go. Does he have a YouTube? Does he have Instagram? What else does he have? I like the guy, but I need to know more. And that's when the interest and people came looking for Mac. And I said, okay, now is when you have to build your brand on a national level and be known, because you were unknown at first. Now you have to build a national level. And then from there, it can be international, and it just goes on and on. But that's the whole concept of it. Does that answer the question? I hope it does.
Yeah, like I want to riff with this a little bit. Are you good with it?
Yeah.
Yeah, like because I want to call out some things. One, I work with a lot of outliers, and they'll come by and they'll be like, well, if I just got, if I just got this thing in a publication, if I just got press about this, if I just got on TV, right? And I see you shaking your head here. So speak some truth to us here so we can see
Oh
like
man,
what it's really like.
it doesn't mean anything just because you get on TV. I had that same delusional thought. Oh yeah, I'm gonna go on TV now. I'm gonna go sell millions of my books. No. What TV will do, it will give you this. It will give you the first step to a crack in the door. And if you can make your 5 seconds of make a splash, and you only have a splash, you need to be able to build and know how to brand and take advantage of that, because that alone will create other opportunities, which have ultimately led again down the road to me talking to you. But you didn't know, you don't even know me from Mac from Queens Court. But because I had enough marketing savvy and understand the power of building a personal brand, and I have an acronym called BRAND, called Build Right and Never Die. BRAND. You build right and you never die. Meaning that if you build your brand right, it'll sustain the test of time. So I wanted to make myself interesting. So I went on TV. I wore nice shades. I always dressed nice, vivacious personality. I like that guy because I knew I had to sell myself in that splash enough to get you to come check me out. But it did not create immediate book sales.
Okay, so now like here, there's two places I want to go. I want to go more
Oh,
to Mactastic. Um,
let's go.
let's go like let's go to the you had to create that you did the shades, the like
Yeah.
the energy from you there. Like for anyone that's looking to themselves and they're saying, all right, I need to go and create my own personal brand. I'm in. I realize that it is not just about like exposure and it's not just gonna like be like the smooth sailing from there. Like tell me a little bit here around like I guess the question is like, was it did you have to create Mactastic, or it's like Mactastic just like this is just how I am on regular days. I'm just allowing it to come out. Like I can imagine some people listening to be like, well, I don't have his energy. I'm not like vivacious and bombastic. Like I can't have a personal brand. I'm really curious, like what your process was around this, and then like what you would recommend to someone.
Well, it was really just showcase. You got to be authentic because
Okay.
what comes from the heart goes to the heart, and people know when somebody's being fake. So I just really was just
Can you say
showcase
that one more time? You said what comes from the.
what comes from the heart goes to the heart.
Mm.
So if you're authentically you, it's gonna connect. Like how you just pretty much read me, man, and the brief time we talked, and you nailed me. You nailed me to the T in like the 3 minutes. That was because you felt an authentic vibration of who I am as a human being, and you nailed it perfectly. Well, there are other clairvoyant people like yourself in the world. It's like that's really who that guy is. The thing was, do you want to show that? You don't have to have a vivacious personality. You just have to be authentically you. And if that cuts through, the truth will always cut through, but you got to showcase it and you got to have a game plan. Like, okay, if you give people, you showcase your personality, what's the end game? The end game for me was, hey, create a business, scale this opportunity, but you just can't go on TV just to, hey, mom, I did it. I mean, if that's what you want to do, that's you, but we're outliers here. So we're
Yes.
trying to scale a business and build a brand.
Tell us now about Mactastic TV. Take us to your business. Help us see how did you decide to like not the how, but like
Yeah.
walk us through how it's designed. What's your business model with it? Like I would love to like to see like how did Mac make this thing?
Well, let's start off right off from the show, man. I went on the show as an author and I came off in media. I tell you that, buddy. So again, you got to go with where opportunity takes you, man. So one day I literally got on Instagram Live. I'm fresh off the show. I'm like, well, man, let me go on Instagram Live and see if I'm really got a little fame to me now. I want to really see, are these chicks checking for me like that? I'm getting these DMs. I'm like, this might really be legit fame. So I go on there, man, and I've gone live and pop, 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 all these girls. Oh my God, I would love you on the show. And so literally, I'm smoking a cigar in the cigar bar talking. And we're just talking. I said, hey, ladies, would y'all like for me to come on here more often? Yeah, you ought to come back more often. I was like, well, I'll be back I'm going to come back tomorrow. We're going to do this again. And so that's what birthed Cigar Chats with Mac, because I was smoking a cigar, talking to my supporters or fans, you know, how you want to use them. And I said, well, you know, we're going to start talking every week. And it went to Cigar Chats with Mac every week. And before you knew it, man, it just kind of spawned into this thing where I was like, you know what? Let me interview a couple guys from my show. So I was able to get them on. And that's what it kind of became, a real entity of a channel. I said, well, hell, I got to put this on YouTube and scale this thing and grow this thing, man. And that's when I said, well, I'm going to make it Mactastic TV, being consistent with the whole Mac name. You got to be consistent with your brand. So Mactastic TV, and it became Cigar Chats and Mac, and then it spawned off into Purple Panties because, you know, the chicks want to talk, you know, they want to talk slick with me. So I want to entertain them too. So I got something for everybody, man. But two different, and that's another thing. You don't want to convolute the brand. So under Mactastic TV, you got Cigar Chats and Mac, which is the interview style, and then you got the Purple Panties, which is a panelist style. Me and 3 or 4 different people.
Interesting. So when you say you don't want to convolute the brand, this is actually something that like right now I'm playing with right now because Mac, I think everything happens for a reason. Because I have this podcast here. And I said, okay, we're gonna go to. I realized like I want to talk to more people, do more things. I'm like, this should just be a podcast network. Then that's fine. I could just like it's too much for one podcast, right? And then literally in my last conversation, I'm like, this might just be easier if I just think of myself as a media company, you know? And so when you just said you don't want to convolute the brand, help me understand that here. And I'm curious what that means for you. I have my own thoughts around it, but I'm curious what that means for you, and how you make your decisions around like, oh, this will convolute it versus this is actually something like that helps keep it clean.
Yeah, well, say for instance, like how I call it, like if you think about it with marketing, man, and I'm a marketing nerd. I you know, that was my whole thing.
Yeah.
I read a lot of marketing books, just, you know, personal development. And you always want to differentiate your brand. You don't want to do the brand extension. So I didn't, okay, if it's Cigar Chats and Mac, that's the entity. Now don't turn around and do Purple Panties with Mac. Don't turn around and do hot dogs with Mac. Don't do that. Let that be a standalone brand so you don't confuse the customer, because a confused customer is gonna say no. It's like, wait a minute, I thought Mac. But now if you say Purple Panties, well, that's a separate entity. Yeah. And so those that come in, they're like, yeah, well, Mac, I know it's Mactastic TV and he has multiple shows, but I like Cigar Chats with Mac. Oh, well, I like Purple Panties with Mac. It's all Mactastic TV, but it's just branded separately. So Toyota says, hey, we got our Toyotas and we got our Camrys and we got our Lexuses, but it's all Toyota, Mac.
Yeah.
It's all Toyota. But we're just going to call one a Camry. We're going to call another one a Lexus. It's the same damn car.
Yeah. Outliers, like I'm gonna pull this in here because as you're saying this, Mac, things are falling into place. I can feel like the inception of my brain like coming together. But what's playing out here is a lot of the people that I know, the outliers out there, they want to do a lot. We want to do a lot, you know. And what part of what I think I'm hearing from you is like, you can do it. Please do it. But like, don't just like do it with intention. What with the things that you're doing, like if you want to do this part, get it done. Put it into a space and make that stand up as this business, you know, as this brand. You know, there's another thing you want to get done, do that too. Have a brand and put them underneath a giant umbrella where here goes the various parts of what I do. And every single one of the things that you do it to a high level, you do it to like the right level, you give it the right fidelity, and you make that all stand on its own. Am I capturing you right here, Mac?
Yeah, you got it 100%, because everybody that's gonna see, here's the thing, because I'm in love with both shows. I mean, everybody's gonna be in love with both shows, whether they're my kids. I love both of my shows, but I can't expect the world to be excited. You might have somebody say, I love Purple Panties. I'm not the biggest Cigar Chats and Mac, but guess what? I still win because they love Purple Panties. Yeah. Or you got, hey, I'm a Cigar Chats and Mac guy. The little panel a little bit too much for me. I still win because I still get you on Cigar Chats. Yeah. But I'm not trying to integrate both worlds. If you come on. I market my Camry and I market my Lexus, because everybody don't want the Camry and everybody don't want a Lexus, but everybody needs a damn car. So here's the end of the day.
So let's do this here. Like, what's going on to my mind is like, all right, this seems like work. And I like that because most people don't do work. All right. Most people really, really don't do work. So tell me a little bit here about like some of the ways that you've been able to, because you don't just have one brand. You have like you have Mactastic, you have Purple Panties, and you have Coffee Chats, right? So you have and that's even just like those are like the big things. I'm sure you have other things working in the works too. So
Don't
like
forget the
what
book.
how and you got the book. Yes, exactly. Right. So you're constantly on these things. How have you structured like your time, your business, the way that you organize your business here, in order to make sure that all of these things are firing off on the correct cylinders?
Good question. Well, I'm a firm believer a person chasing two rabbits will catch neither one of them. You can't chase two rabbits at the same time. So you got to realize before I went on the show in 2022, the book was already 2 years old. So that infrastructure was already set. We just
Nice.
had to add more momentum to that, but it was already in place.
Yes.
It's easy to tell somebody, hey, I got a book out and it's here versus, oh, I got a book coming. I'm trying to build it. That was done first. So that was out the way. Okay. The primary show, Cigar Chats with Mac, I waited until that was, I'm going to say about 10 months strong. When I had such a strong following from that, I was like, okay, let me do something a little bit different and spin off and create a whole new identity with hey me and a panel of girls and guys talking contemporary things. I'm a single guy. Let me do a dating show, dating guy, dating show. Why not do that? It's smart business. So I built one leg at a time. I did not try to do it all at one time, man. And so, but the good thing, they all coalesce. Because hey, if I'm on Purple Panties, hey, don't forget to get that book, Get on Diamond. If I'm on Cigar Chats and Mac, hey, don't forget to get that book, Get on Diamond.
Yeah.
If
Yeah.
that makes sense, brother.
Yeah, I see the ecosystem that's there, and I had called it something different. So definitely cigar chat. So let me make sure I say that I
I
acknowledge
love
that.
coffee too, though, man. So that ain't a bad.
You notice I wasn't even going to say it again. I was like I called it something different. Let me not even like because I know the effort that it takes like to really
Oh,
create the establishment of the brand there. I really appreciate this. I like there's there's simplicity behind everything you're saying,
yeah,
but I also see the heart amount of work that's involved here, and what you've been doing over the last decade or so, like to just keep building your whole life, just keep building in a direction. Like everything continues to build upon it, and what's cool here is that like with you, you have like the personal brand, you have Mactastic TV, you found ways to keep leveling up
yeah.
while like making sure that every other past experience continues to add. Like you have executive experience in corporate. You're like, I know how to set things up and get it to run. And
100%.
now and I know that we're not going to chase two rabbits right now. Like we're going to just get this one thing done. So I appreciate it because there's a lot of freedom in what you said here. And I also get that it takes time. I want to just make sure I say that out loud because a lot of times it's like we have that like I snap my fingers and like here it is. And it's like the reality is like I spent a year on this alone. And then I got no time to do the next thing. And then it was time to do the next thing. And then I got building. Well, Mac, like I want Outliers to stay in your world. So for anyone that is enjoying Mac's world, like what are the best ways for them to continue the journey with you?
Yeah, man. Well, first of all, again, I'm a pretty simple guy. I make everything simple. Mactastic TV is my handle on Instagram. Mactastic TV is my handle on TikTok. Mactastic TV is my handle on YouTube. You can find me on YouTube, and there you can see all my shows. You can see Cigar Chats with Mac, as well as you can see the Purple Panties, series as well. So it's all there in my books, MactasticTV.com, same as well. It's all right there on Shopify, man. So I'm pretty simple, man. I keep I believe in being consistent and simple.
Yeah, well, I mean, that's that you talked about scale earlier, and like like the simplicity is what allows for scale here. Like I heard someone say, like scaling in and of itself is its own complexity. So it's like you don't need to make it you don't need to
Don't
make it
make
any
it hard.
harder. You don't need to make it
Hey,
any
now
harder.
I got a saying: don't complicate the simple, man. Keep it
Yeah.
simple. Don't complicate the
Yeah.
simple.
Love it. Love it. Love it. Mac, let me ask you here. So we all got something from this conversation. I got something from it as well. I like to like just give space here to see to make sure that everyone on the show has a chance to get something too. So what's been an insight or takeaway that you got from being on here? And if the answer is none, then that's fine too. But I want to just like give space for that. What's an insight that you might have had?
No, well, no. I would be, man, it would be criminal to say none, because honestly, you allow people to tell their stories, and sometimes we don't really realize how special the journey is until we tell the story. And other people who don't live your life every day or live your business journey, it's like, you know what? Let me take it. That's a golden nugget. You allow people to realize that, hey, you know what? You got golden nuggets in your story that the world needs. And so what I take from that is, hey, you know what? I've done a lot of good things, man. Sometimes we can be hard on ourselves and come on a platform like this when this story is novelty to you. You don't know anything about it. You're learning it. And there's aha moments or, hey, man, thank you for clearing it up for me. You're letting people know you have value as an outlier. And you're not alone, because guess what? Being an outlier makes you special. So I commend you and give you your cigars, man, for creating this platform for outliers, man. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Mac. That means a lot. It means a lot. Yeah, I got another question for you here, and the question here is
Whatever,
this.
man. We got time. We
Yeah,
got my time. Go ahead.
the question I have here is this. We talked earlier about like looking 10 years ago
Oh,
and being here, right? So now if you had to look like 10 years in the future, right? I call it the time capsule question. If you had to leave a message for yourself, something to remind yourself, something to like tell yourself here that in 10 years' time you would come back and you'll listen to it, what's the message that you would leave for yourself?
oh man. Well, in 10 years from now, hey man, you know what? Enjoy the journey. Continue to enjoy the journey. You're doing just fine, kiddo. In 10 years from now, man, you'll have the biggest network. We're gonna timestamp this. Mactastic TV will be its own huge network on major channels, man. And hey, man, I plan to be a billionaire in 10 years, man. You can book me on that. 10
All
years.
right,
Book Mactastic on that one. I'll be a billionaire in 10 years.
it's a bet. We got that. Mac, I appreciate you. Thank you so much here. Is there anything else you'd like to say to our audience of Outliers before we close for today?
No, man. Hey, just continue to support you. I love this platform, and again, man, I'm honored to be here. And anybody that wants to reach out, feel free to reach out. Hey, I believe in paying it forward. Whatever I learn, I believe knowledge is meant to be shared, man, not kept. I don't. I want to leave this world with it, giving it all out. I don't want to take none on the other side with me, man. So I'm here to share.
Oh, that's absolutely fantastic. Thank you for doing that already, right? I appreciate you. Here's the thing. Thank you for showing us what it looks like to be you on purpose. Journey on, Mac.